So it's three things. The first one, I got a showing tomorrow with the property. And I don't know if on your assignment contracts you have it. But I know the one that I got from one of the guys that I got a course from early, he has it on his. But a deadline for the buyer to sign it. So
Yeah.
like
So,
this buyer particularly,
hmm
he wanted to get a deal done before everybody else comes shows the property.
hmm
But I guess he thought he was being tricky, and he's gonna wait till he sees it tomorrow, and then so if somebody gives a higher number than him, he's gonna say, "Oh, I already got the agreement."
so you're talking about the assignment contract or
Yes,
the
sir.
sales contract? The assignment?
This time, yes, sir.
So did you give him the assignment contract?
Yeah, he never opened send it because I know via DocuSign where basically they open the email, right? So I'm guessing he's going to wait till after he sees it tomorrow.
Yeah.
He actually just texted me now talking about send it again.
Well,
But
maybe he
yeah,
didn't get
so
it.
I don't know, but I'm not gonna send it to him right now. I'm gonna wait till
Yeah.
tomorrow.
So
And I mean, what
here's
would
what you
you
gotta
say?
understand. A couple things on this. Number one, when you do like an email, you'd be shocked. Some people have to sort out with spam. Number one is don't overreact. Maybe he just didn't get it. That's the first thing. Number two, on my contract, there is a spot for them to there's an expiration on it. And the signature is not even the big deal. The most important part is when they drop off the deposit. So I've had this little game that people have played with me where they sign the contract and then they do the checks in the mail type of crap. I can't stand it because what good's your signature without a deposit? It's like, so I'm optioned and you don't give me any money. So on my contract, there's a spot on there. Mine, I have a default on there and you can change it if you want. It says if you don't put a deposit within 24 hours of signature, the contract's void. The third way
Okay.
to protect yourself, if you want to do it, is it's not slippery, but it's a way to protect your interest is always, you can have them sign first. And then sometimes some people won't sign it until they get the deposit. That way you're not obligated to it. I've had it's not, sometimes you have to do it in some markets to protect yourself. So like when you do an e-sign, make sure he signs and then you don't sign until you get the deposit. That way, if you do get a higher offer or they start playing games with you, then you have options. But like you always want to do the right thing. If you commit, here's what, when I'm sending somebody an assignment agreement, they've already agreed to everything. Like, and I want to get it wrapped up in 24 hours. When they drag on, it's a nightmare. And you need to heed the warning because they're probably not going to be a very good buyer. So just on my contract, it says you got to leave the deposit within 24 hours. I don't know if it in e-sign, because I don't do them. I have somebody on my staff that does it. I don't know if you can put an expiration when you send it to them. Like you got a 3-hour window. If not, this email like blows up, like goes away, you know? If you have that option, you can do that. I don't want an assignment contract hanging out there because it's bad enough we have to do this with contracts with sellers. And sometimes we have to do that. When it comes to a cash buyer, they should have already made their decision and determination. So here's what they do. If he wants to go by and look at it, I never want to obligate myself till they look at it anyways, because if they want to renegotiate or do anything, I don't want them to option me on it. Occasionally I'll let them sign one and then let them look at it, but I tell them you got 24 hours. Like I don't want it dragging on forever. So make sure you're very clear on it. It's bad enough with sellers. Do never let a cash buyer string you out. It's going to be a disaster. Just go, hey, and just say, listen, I got 3 other people looking at the property. I gave you first shot, but if you're not going to sign it, let me know. But if he's going to look at it tomorrow, I'd probably just wait anyways. But by doing that little trick where have them sign first and commit, but like be a man of your word. If you committed to the property, the price, and he signed to it, I don't like playing the game. This guy offered me 5 or 10 grand more because in this market, you really can't be doing that.
My thing was I sent it on Friday or Thursday. I sent it on Thursday, and I mean, he just texted me about some information on the property today. So it's just like, that's all I was trying to say. Like,
so the rule is
I told him.
Don't let them drag you out. I'm just telling you, it's bad enough for sellers. You do it with cash buyers. Once they do it once to you, it's just a disaster. And you got to let them know. Always let them know there's other people looking at the property. You got to give them the FOMO feeling.
Well, he's gonna see it tomorrow. I mean, he's gonna see tomorrow. There's gonna be other people at the property.
Yeah. So just listen. Whoever takes action first. And the minute someone goes, "Hey, dude, I thought we were good. I thought we were tight." I'm like, I sent you the agreement. You never signed it, and you still haven't taken any action. So I don't do bidding wars. I'm just like, but like in this market, whoever wants to like move first, I'm going to make it. You make my life easy, I make your life easy. You make my life difficult, I'm not going to bend over backwards for you. And I always kept that rule with cash buyers because you weed out the pain in the butt people. And by the way, that's why I don't sell to a lot of wholesalers anymore because they drag me me out more than anyone. I do not let a wholesaler, they're not even allowed to look at my assignment contract until there's a deposit at the title company. I'm not, because I don't want to even go over my contract with them. I go, hey, I have a contract. It's for 150,000. It expires this. You need to close by this date, and that's it. Take it or leave it. Do you want it? They look at the property and they come back, hey, I want it. That's great. Go by the title company, drop off your $5,000 non-refundable check, and she'll have a contract there waiting for you. I used to do it the other way. Oh my God, weeks would go by. Oh, I don't know what happened, Rick. I wired it. I mailed it. I'm like, you know what? And then I find my property being marketed all over the internet. He's like, I haven't found a cash buyer yet. I'm like, if you just told me that up front, I would have told you I'm not going to let you do that. So, and I don't mind working with other wholesalers. When I first started this business, most wholesalers sold my deals for me. I was so good at getting motivated sellers. I didn't spend a lot of time with cash buyers, but today's age is a little bit different, man. You got to be very, very cautious. So don't let them stretch you out. What else you got?
The second and last thing is basically, so I was trying to get this other property on the contract. The owner of the property, we reached a number. I went to go check out the property, but he's heavy and really big on using his own title company. So
you know what I'm going to say.
Today is closed. It's all too.
So how good of a deal is it for you? Are you talking from the seller or your cash buyer?
Honestly, seller.
So is it a good deal? Like, is it just like borderline, or is it like, man, there's some...
I'm at least make 10 because I know the market, and I already had some buyers. I talked to him about it, and he got it's such a deep discount. Like it's almost 20 to 30 grand below the market value appraised on the county website.
So
but it's not
rule number one, I tell everyone, always try to use everything in your power to use your title company, because it gives you control, you know, the outcome, and it's very predictable what's going to happen. The problem is when you use a seller's title company is most of these title companies are geared towards retail realtors. They're slow. They don't understand assignments, and they're out for their client's own best interest, which usually is not yours. Everybody says a title company's neutral. They're not, guys. Like, I'm just telling you. And so I would test out the title company and talk to them before you do it. So is this virtual or local?
Yeah, yes, sir, virtual.
So you're just going to have to call them and figure it out, because a lot of these companies, like, they freak out on assignment. And I would just ask them, you don't tell them who you are. Just say, listen, you guys handle assignment of contract from investors, and see what their temperature is. And if they start like, oh my God, isn't that illegal or something? You already know what's going to happen. You do have the option of doing a double closing, or it's going to eat into your profits. So you just got to find out if they'll allow you to do it. And number two is the stressful part is, even if they say yes, they'll do it. Vince, is you get there and it's like, it's very unknown how it goes down. It's very like, not when you get there, you do it virtually. And like, some people start looking at the paperwork, depending on how the title company presents it, becomes difficult. They're also going to probably have challenges because you're virtual. So find out if they can work with you virtually, and if they're okay with the assignment of contract. And then, you'll have to make a decision. You are at a disadvantage when you have to use the seller's title company. The reason I asked for the profit level, if the profit level is big enough, I just tell you to do a double closing. And then a lot of the retail realtor title companies, they don't even like double closings because they think they're like risky, which is crazy because it's the double amount of business. So you're just going to have to size them up and see what you can get away with. Guys, I did this once on a deal I was doing. It was a short sale flip. I was making like a $95,000 profit. I had to agree to use the realtor's title company. It blew up on me. Not only did it blow up on me, it cost me 6 months of lawyer fees and pain, because the title company, I had to take it from the title company because they couldn't close it. I took it to my title company, got it closed, and then they called every agency in the world on me, and I got investigated. I was fine because they didn't understand what I did. They did not understand any of the paperwork, and they thought I was doing something illegal. I wasn't. Just because you don't understand what I do doesn't make it illegal. And that's what you're going to get a lot of when you get into these companies, and that they're like, oh yeah, assignment. And you don't want them to go, hey, so here's the one. If they are agreeable, make sure you know the temperament of your seller, because they might see that assignment fee. So you better have the pre-talk with them a little bit and just say, listen, sometimes I buy these. I don't know what we're going to do with them. And you got to prepare it in there. You got to plant that seed, because if that title company goes, hey, just to let you know, Vince making a $10,000 profit on you, they're basically trying to say, watch out, Vince is ripping you off. And that's not the reality of it, but that's how it gets portrayed, because you're not doing the presentation there, because it's not your title company. So did you get all that? You have to check the temperament of your seller, and you're going to have to vet out that title company and see if they'll do assignment and see if they'll work with you virtually. If you can get all three of those things, then go for it, but be prepared.
Okay.
I hate
And they
using other
said
people's title
basically,
company. It's always a fight.
yeah,
It's always a fight.
this guy, man, this guy, he's a retired police officer, and to say the least, he's like really stubborn. And so I'm trying to tell him like, hey, we're gonna take care of everything. You don't have to worry about it. He's like, oh, I'm just looking out so many scams and stuff going on these days. I'm just trying to be rather safe than sorry. And I'm like, I haven't asked you for any amount of money. All I
Yeah.
want to do is get this deal closed within the next 14 to 30 days and get your money. I don't want any money from you. He's like, oh, I don't mind paying the $300 for that closing company to do the paperwork. I'm like, well, even if we do use your company, you don't have. We're gonna talk to them. Like, you don't have to worry about it. He's like, well, I don't mind. I want to pay that. I'm saying, like, I'm trying to get him. I don't want to like force my way, but it's like if we're really gonna do this and make it happen, it's like everything can't go your way, and it's just like, you can't pay. Like, we don't need to pay for anything.
I know.
I don't know. Like I
Vince,
said,
I feel for you. You're gonna have to make a gut call. If there's a big profit on the line, sometimes I lean towards doing it, but there's always a wild card when
yeah.
you do this. Somebody always objects to something, and it's almost out of your control because the problem is he trusts the title company and he doesn't trust you, and so that title company's not going to stick
Right,
up
he
for you.
don't
Like,
have. Yeah, I mean, he don't have to trust me. It's just the fact that if you're trying to get the money, because when my partner out there, he went on the like showing this to see the property. The guy was ready to get it going. Like, he was like, "What's your offer?" Like, what? Like, you could tell he was
yeah.
very like motivated. But it's like, so you letting this one thing stop you from getting the money that say you need. It's very very
I would just
weird.
make sure that so you already have a contract with them?
Say it again. I didn't hear you.
Do you have it under contract?
No, that's the only thing stopping us from getting on the contract. The title company is. We agreed on the number. I said, hey, I even had my title company that I use in that area to call him, reassure him. He's like, oh, well, I looked on the Better Business Bureau and they didn't have, it wasn't accredited on the Better Business Bureau. I'm saying to myself, like, hey,
Yeah.
that's gonna stop us
So
doing a
bottom line,
deal. I
Vince,
haven't,
is
I haven't asked for no money.
yeah, you can't make people do stuff they don't want to do. So you're gonna have to assess your risk. Your biggest risk is him, the title company going, Vince is making $10,000 off of you. Are you okay with that? Because that's typically what's going to happen. And because it's virtual, someone's going to review it and go line item by line item. So what you can do is put it under contract. I always tell them, go, listen, if you use my title company, we pay all expenses. So maybe offer them a little more incentive for it. But if not, you can't make them. You're going to have to make that decision. Just make sure you understand they're going to point out the assignment of contract and just let him know you're making a profit. If he's okay with that, you can put it under contract, give it a shot. Like, I still do them, but I just don't like doing it. Like, it doesn't mean I don't do it.
Okay.
It just means I don't like doing it because it's a risk. So look at your risk.
Okay.
Sometimes we got to do some things we're not crazy about, and we do it. I have to deal with out of town title companies all the time. They're just difficult because they have no idea how we work and they complicate it. Mine's simple. So your biggest risk, if long as they do assignments, they'll work with you virtually, is going to be your seller going, why are you making a $10,000 assignment fee, Vince? What's up? You scamming me? And that's where you're going to have the conversation up front while you're doing it. So, right? I'd put it under contract. I'd give it a shot.
Some purchase. Yes. So
that?
basically, you said some property that I purchased, some properties I give to my partner. I was saying you said just warming him up. You were saying basically some property buy, some property give to your partners to purchase.
Yeah.
And
depends on how much work it needs. Once we really get in there and look at it. So sometimes I'll assign it to one of my partners, which is the truth. Like, listen, I tell everybody I make a profit in what I do. Like, the ones that got a problem with, I don't even do a deal with them because they're going to cry no matter what you do.
Okay.
So all you wholesalers that go around and try to hide that you're making a profit, you're just doing a disservice. Most people know you're buying the property to make a profit. And long as you disclose that, then you're legally, ethically covered. I'm just telling you, you're going to have to do more in putting that in the contract. You're going to have to verbalize it with him because he could be a problem. He's got trust issues. Maybe it's one from his being a cop in the past type of deal, but I can't get over so you're just gonna have to set some boundaries and some rules. So as long as he follows the contract and he's okay with it and he inks that contract, he can't go to his title company and dictate the terms. They got to follow the contract. So whatever you put in contract, make sure it's in writing because that's how it's going to go down.
Right. Yeah. That's my thing. I told him like, hey, like he's like, oh well, I just have the paperwork for you to sign. I'm like, no, we don't do it like that. Even if we do business with your title company, we're going to take over the situation. And he's oh, well, I want to pay the $275, and I'm just like, you don't have to pay nothing. And he's like, I even take less if I use my title company. I'm like, well, you really take less money.
Listen,
I'm here trying to give you money. You want to take less money.
You're trying to drag a horse to the water and make him drink. At some point, you're going to lose the entire deal. So you have to make a decision on it. It's like you're trying to do it for his own good because, but I get it. Like, people have insecurities have nothing to do with you or the real estate. So somebody put on here, hey, Rick, why don't you do a blind HUD? Guys, try to avoid that. I'm just telling you, a blind HUD is a specialty skill that title companies do, where they create two different types of HUDs, and it's legal. Most companies won't do it where one, like the buyer gets a HUD and the seller gets a HUD, and they separate them. You can never tell them to do that. If your title company wants to do it, then God bless them. But don't be the person that asks for it, because that could be a problem if there's ever an issue with the transaction. Vince told me to do it. Rick told me to do it. No, I don't tell title companies what to do. I want them to do their business. I write contracts. They just give me clear title. That's it. I don't tell them what to do. I don't get involved with notaries. I don't get involved with the HUD. I do my job. They do their job. So just try to talk to them, and you'll have to assess in the end. Make sure you have everything in the writing in that contract, because that's what you're going to have to hold them to. Okay?
Okay.
You got it.
Sounds great.
I don't like
Appreciate
doing
it,
them,
Rick.
but like I'll do them. Like it's just, but at the end, if you won't do it, are you going to walk away from it? That's the question. So you got to figure that out.
Yes, sir. Appreciate
Okay,
it, man.
Vince,
Thank you
call
again.
me
I'll
back
keep you
and let
posted.